Hey guys, and welcome back to the Cheer from Head to Toe channel. Today we are talking about something that I think is really important and something that I think everyone should know about. It's cheer music and all the confusion, and we're going to help try and make it easier so you don't panic, you can relax and you know what you're doing with your cheer music. So today we are here with Chantel. She's going to help us clear up some of the things. A bit about her, she's the founder of Click and Clear. She's also part of, I'm going to forget the word, Paracheer International. She's one of the trustees. She has a passion for cheer and also a passion for music. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I started Click and Clear a couple of years ago after the kind of changes in music licensing rules. Of course, those rules always existed, but I founded the company because I saw that there was no actual solution for anyone to legally license popular music from the music industry. And at the time, I was working full-time in music licensing, doing some pre-cleared licensing for another company for online and digital media. So like working with YouTubers and Spotify and brands and stuff. And when I kind of saw that my hobby in the industry that I was also working in, as an athlete and a coach, and I used to mix music as well, I kind of was like, well, I don't want this market to not have popular music anymore. We need to find a way to easily and simply license it. So I've spent the large part of the last 2 years basically negotiating with the music industry. It's difficult as it is, very complicated, complicated rights. But we've been aggregating all of those deals and building up a platform where teams and music producers can just go online. Everything on there is 100% cleared on master and publishing, and they can instantly license the music.
So you're making stuff easy, simple, straightforward,
affordable and accessible.
And that's what we want. That's
two
what
main
we want.
things.
We love this sport, but it is expensive. So
It's
any cost.
so expensive, and we're just trying to find the ways to bring down some of those costs where you can.
Okay, now I have some questions I'm going to answer to help make everything a bit easier. So I'm just going to grab my notepad. Okay, first question, and this is for you guys to help clear up some things, because I know a lot of people are confused on certain, like, does this apply to me? And most of it applies to you. Let's start off with that. But the first question. So, all of a sudden it seems like I need a license. Why didn't I need one before?
So, we've always needed a license.
Always needed a license, just point that out.
Music is an intellectual property right, an IP right, and what that means is any time that you want to use a piece of music that is not your own, you need a license for it. You need to ask permission for it. And the reasons why this has happened, this whole new music licensing rules,
quote new,
is because there were a few music producers who had some legal action taken against them, very sadly, and so the governance of the sport needed to make changes to ensure that that doesn't happen again. And that's really all it is. It's our sport is growing, which is great.
Amazing.
We're moving towards the Olympics, which is amazing, and we need to start acting like a grown-up sport. And so part of that is ensuring that these procedures are in place and that people are licensing music, and that goes from all ends of the spectrum, from a small community team to your biggest kind of well-known teams.
Okay, great. So what you've kind of answered that. I'm not from a big team, do I need this license? You've just kind of said yes. If you are one of the more high-profile teams in the UK, it's the world, but I'm focusing on UK, high-profile team. Or if you teach cheer, I don't know, say in your church hall, you need to get the proper licensing. It applies to everyone. There's a blanket rule. Don't think just because you don't, go to Worlds, it doesn't apply to you. It applies to everyone.
Yeah, it's a global law as well, which is held together by something called the Berne Convention and the Rome Convention, and that's a global treaty signed by pretty much every country, where it states that copyright law exists worldwide. And so whilst the way that you license music in certain countries may differ, especially with regards to performing rights, the right to play music in a venue, but actually the fundamentals of copyright still exists. And yeah, as we've both said here, it does carry on from the small teams to the big teams, and often I come across school teams from schools will say, well, we've got a performing rights license in place, so we don't need anything else. But actually, the rights that we're currently missing out on are the rights to edit and adapt the music, the adaptation rights, the right to choreograph to the music, so put choreography, dance, routine, full routine to the music. You need a mechanical right, which is the right to create a new MP3 file, so basically the MP3 of your cheer mix.
Which you're gonna need, yeah.
Because you're creating a copy of that song. And also the right to then put it onto YouTube and Facebook and so on. And we've gathered all of those rights together. We worked with the lawyers who worked on behalf of Sony Records and on the lawsuit, and so we ensured that we had everything together. But that's the main difference is performing rights, yes, they cover you for playing the music in the venue. They also need reporting of the music use, but really what we're focused on here and the licenses that have been missed out are the adaptation rights, choreography rights, mechanical rights, and sync rights.
Because we don't just take a song and play it. We
really
snip it, change it, add in effects. I think that's the thing that people are missing, is like we don't just play a song. We completely change that song. We change the tempo, everything. So I think that's why you're saying we need all, because we do so much to a song.
You need all those rights. But even if you were to just use a full song, you still do need a choreography right. And then you might want to upload it onto YouTube. So there are still elements of other things that you might need as well. Depending on how you're wanting to use music.
Okay, but then another question I've had before is I bought the music, of iTunes or Amazon, so technically it's mine, so why can't I do what I want with the music?
Yeah, so going back to music as an IP, right? When you actually buy a song on iTunes or pay a monthly subscription for Spotify or whatever it is, you're actually paying for a license. You're paying for, in iTunes, you're paying for a download for basically a mechanical right to download that song, and then you obviously, you kind of have it. You don't own the music, but you own this copy of it. You own this music file, and you can use that for personal use. You can use that to listen to, and that's basically the right you get. And if you were to ever read the end user license agreement from Apple's iTunes, which, I mean, whoever does.
Who's going to be
it's pretty beastie. Then you would see that in there, that it is actually a license. And the same for Spotify. So you're actually paying for a license to stream the music, to have the ability to use that app and listen to that music. And then Spotify reports those royalties on to the rights holders, to the owners of the music. And of course, you as a team don't know any of that information. You don't know who owns the music, and actually that information isn't readily available.
Good point. Okay, and then I have another one. So what about covers? Because someone's like, well, I've covered the music, so therefore I can use the music. But it's not as clear as that, and you're going to tell us why.
Yeah, so cover music. So whilst yes, you can get a license for cover music, the main things you need to watch out for is that it covers both the master and the publishing rights. So let's just
we're going to come back.
Let's go back to music education 101. So there are two sides of music, of a music license. You've got the master rights, which are the rights to the actual recording, the people who commissioned the recording to be made, which is often the record label. Then you've got the publishing rights. Now the publishing rights are the writers' rights, the people who wrote the music, the lyrics, the melodies, and so on and so forth. And that's often multiple different people, different entities. There's a thing going around the music industry right now that says on average there are 9 writers per song.
I know. I was shocked when she said this, because you just assume as someone who's not in the music industry that it might be maybe 2, maybe 3 at a push. 9, and there's probably more. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, they have full teams. They have full teams of people writing music. And so you actually need a license from all of those people in order to clear the music. And sometimes someone will have 1%. It's just like, well, it's just some guy sat in his flat who you need to contact. And so the nine writers, 1 master owner, that's 10 people you need to contact.
10.
And that's on average.
For one song?
For one song. And so with regards to the cover music side of things, if I'm to do my own cover of Katy Perry's Firework, well then I own the master rights. I own the new recording of Katy Perry's Firework. But I didn't write Katy Perry's song.
Yeah.
So I need to find out who wrote Katy Perry's song, how many people were there, and who do I need to contact and communicate with to negotiate a license fee. And what's happening right now is there are cover music providers that may only cover the master rights and not the publishing rights. So you just need to double check what they're offering. But everything with Click and Clear is master and publishing. And we do have some cover versions as well. The other bit with covers is you can either create a cover that's a sound alike, which is a grey area.
Yeah.
Or you do a cover which is an actual cover, which is where it's interpreted a little bit differently. And those are the kinds of covers that we've got on our platform at the moment. So we've got some like Rolling Stones covers right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
But yeah, those are the main things to watch out for.
So we hope we've cleared that up. And I would probably watch this back just to understand it, because it's a lot of information, but it is important, and you need to know this.
We've got a few resources that talk about this on our website as well. So feel free to go on there, and we've also got a Facebook group. I don't know if you're on it, but using music in cheerleading, and there's downloadable resources about cover music and about music rights in general, just explaining master rights, publishing rights, and so on. We do everything we can to help people better understand it.
Great. And then so we said kind of how it affects our gym. It affects your gym, that you have to be aware that there's so much rights to it, and you need to license your music. And then the solution. Now this is where Chantal comes in, because she has a business that helps make sure your music you're completely covered. So you don't have that fear to think, someone might send me a letter that you really don't want to receive. So tell us a bit about your business and kind of why you started it and where it's going.
Yeah, so kind of leading on from the very beginning of our conversation, I founded Click and Clear because I saw that there was no way for teams to license music, especially music that is popular from Sony, Warner, Universal, and so on. And so I kind of took it into my own hands to create this solution.
Love that. Female empowerment.
Not the easiest thing to do by any means. Often a lot of people in the music industry are like, this is one of the hardest jobs anyone could possibly do. Why are you doing it? But I know that teams want to use popular music and that they want to use music that they're familiar with and listen to, and that athletes actually perform better when they are
relate to the song.
You can relate to it. So took it upon myself to talk to all the people, the relationships I already had in the music industry, and build this platform, and they've been very supportive of it. They want to create a solution. They know it's a problem, and it's not just applicable to cheerleading. Many other sports have this problem too. And we've created a solution where you can go online, you can create playlists, you can download tracks, you can send it to your music producer, you can license it yourself, you can then make your own mix. We have everything from the master and publishing rights, and then the four main rights that we talked about, with adaptation rights, choreography rights, mechanical rights, and sync rights. And those are the main kind of points that you need to know in terms of what you require for a license. Of course, if you're a gym in a venue, you will need a performing rights license from PRS and PPL in the UK. And that's just the right to play any music in your gym. But in terms of, our solution is obviously just one solution of a couple others that do exist. And of course, teams, they'll think about, well, what is the kind of music that we want? How much can we realistically afford? And, what is the kind of impression we're looking to go after here? And so you can either license music on Click and Clear and then mix it yourself, or you can send it to a music producer to create a mix for you. But then there's a couple other options where you can actually just get music that's out of copyright. So copyright exists for as long as all of the writers are alive, and then for 70 years after the death of the last writer. So all the Beatles stuff is still in, because Paul McCartney is still alive. And sadly when he died, it'll be 70 years after that the Beatles content will be in the public domain. And then the master rights work slightly differently. It's usually 50 years after release.
Okay.
So you can find music that's in the public domain, and the way you kind of double check that is just doing a lot of research. Or just putting numbers together. If something's been made in the 1600s and recorded in the 1600s,
most likely,
well then, you're pretty good to go. Pretty good to go.
Yeah.
Two mixes with Mozart, who knows? So there's that, and then finally there's the option of getting something completely bespoke. So there are a couple of companies that do exist who just do bespoke music. Of course, the cost is slightly higher.
A lot higher. Something to think about. It's an option.
Yeah, many of the kind of bigger all-star teams are going with that, and it creates kind of a unique identity for them. But again, it's up to you. What kind of style are you looking for? What kind of music, and how much you're willing to spend.
Okay. Well, I can't think of any more questions. I really enjoyed this. I hope it helped you guys. It helped me because I've learned a lot about something that I think is important, that isn't talked about enough. And there is loads of information out there. I'm going to link Chantal's website on the bottom and everything. Go check it out. It's really informative. If you want to learn, don't just ignore it, because it could affect you. So knowledge is power. So make sure you read up. But yeah, thank you for coming and doing this interview.
No.
Have you got anything else you want to chat about? Oh, also, she goes around this. I'm a lover of paracheer, and I'm just going to mention it now. She's going around like all over the world doing such great things for paracheer. Her and Rick, I just really love it, and I know people love it, and I'll put their link below if you want to go follow their journey. They're on the planes all the time doing such amazing things. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that, and thank you for helping out cheer music, because that is also something important as well.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much.
Until next time, guys. Bye.